So, we now move to our next guest speaker from the campaign TruthAboutZane. But before I introduce him, there will be a short video after I've explained a little bit about the campaign. Zane Died, aged 7, tragically died on the 8th of February 2014 during the floods in Chertsey. Zane was a beautiful and popular 7-year-old schoolboy who loved helping people and charities with his mummy and daddy. A toxic gas that can lurk in unregulated formal landfill sites was found in the house and in the blood results of both his parents, who were found unconscious. Zane's father, Kai Gabambola, is a diagnosed paraplegic due to hydrogen cyanide poisoning during the same incident. And we invite Kai to address the conference. Thank you.
Good evening. Now it's the turn of the northwest of England to feel the full force of the storms battering Britain. The Met Office has issued a red alert, meaning a danger to life, as rain and hurricane-force winds are lashing the northwest coast tonight. It's playing havoc with transport links, with the M6 closed, cruise station evacuated, some rail lines suspended.
Well, now back to the flooding, and all the evidence, says the Met Office, points to climate change. Their latest research has been tracking the changing patterns which have led to these unprecedented storms. Our weather presenter, Liam Dutton, what's going on then?
Well, it's astonishing, John, the weather we've seen over the past 2 months. Storm after storm slamming into our shores. And of course, yesterday the Met Office said that all the evidence points to climate change playing a huge role in this. And
First time they've said that.
It is, and it could just be the case that we see more and more of this as we head into the future.
Tonight on BBC London News, could this 7-year-old have died as a result of poisoning during the winter floods? His family claim their search for answers is being blocked.
It's been more than 4 months since the floodwaters receded here, and yet the sandbags, the pumps, are evidence of how this is a home caught in a single moment in time, the night Zane died.
The family believe that on that night, contaminated floodwater from a former landfill site filled their basement. As theirs was the only one open to the soil, their theory is that poisonous vapour then infused the house. Kai lost consciousness and awoke in intensive care, only to be told his son had died. So far, no post-mortem has been able to establish Zane's death, but his father says he and his son suffered from hydrogen cyanide poisoning. When these concerns were put to Surrey County Council, they denied the site at the rear of the property had ever been used as a landfill, saying, think carefully about spreading panic among local residents. In an official statement, they went on to say, Abbeyfield is a landscape lake area created as a result of mineral excavation and has not been a landfill site. Now it's emerged that a simple property search carried out by any home buyer will reveal the area is recorded as landfill. This is the property. At the rear, shaded brown, a local authority recorded landfill site. What's more, the report says there is the potential for significant ground contamination to exist. No site visit was made, but this is all based on information from Surrey County Council. And here's a similar search on the Environment Agency's website. The pink shows historic landfill, again, right next to their home. So what do the council have to say now? In a statement, they said simply, police are investigating this sad case and are waiting on the results of tests, so it wouldn't be appropriate to speculate on the cause of death until they have them.
For the sufferers,
Belston from the Fire Brigade Union.
don't we? We should do and we must do, because that is the basic makeup of being a decent human being. But it's not just the emotional connection that we should drive this campaign to seek the truth. It's a fundamental human right. It's Zane's parents' right to know how their beloved son died. Everyone's right to life is protected by law. That is from the European Convention of Human Rights. Where was Zane's? Kai and Nicole, as long as I am the spokesperson for Surrey Fire Brigade Union, we are with you all the way. We are here to help you fight for your son Zane, to expose the true events that surround his tragic death, to hold to account those responsible individuals and authorities who we believe lied and withheld crucial evidence. On the lead up to that fateful night, in the aftermath, and including the highly questionable coroner's verdict. If there's nothing to hide, then why would the authorities block legal aid? And why would they ignore calls for an independent panel inquiry? So from Surrey's members, we will not back down, we will not be silenced, we want the truth for Zane, and we call for an independent panel inquiry. Thank you.
6 years on and still no justice for Zane. Children should not die and the truth behind their deaths go uninvestigated due to political decisions. Chair, friends and delegates, firstly I would like to thank Unison Black members for enabling Zane to have a voice at this conference. Good morning, my name is Kai Bangbola. Forgive me for being direct. I know that many of you have children. Well, this is my little boy, my beautiful little boy, and he died. His name is Zane. In Surrey on the 8th of February 2014, whilst the country was in floodwater entered our basement. The floodwater had passed through secret landfill behind the house. Zane's home was infused with deadly nerve agent, known as hydrogen cyanide, the gas that is invisible and odorless and was used to kill millions in World War II in the gas chambers. It was detected by fire services hazmat. 7-year-old Zane was killed. When hazmat detected the hydrogen cyanide, the hazardous area response team evacuated the area. Many emergency services personnel needed to be decontaminated. Port and down were flown in. Emergency COBRA meetings were held. An unscheduled prime ministerial visit took place. No one was allowed into the area for weeks. All of this you saw at Salisbury during the nerve agent attack. Had my wife, Nicole, not raised the alarm, many could have died that night. I was in cardiac arrest. I wasn't even able to help my wife and my son. Our son had just been killed. Our medical records, within minutes of Zane's death, recorded police, fire services, public health, hazardous area response team notifications of hydrogen cyanide. One entry from the public health records states how there were pockets of hydrogen cyanide in the house. No one was to go to that house, and the family must be found alternative accommodation. The government talks of gases choking children's lungs in Syria. Too right. But they did not care when it happened to my son, Zane, in Surrey. When it happened to my beautiful boy, he was considered collateral damage, to be swept under the carpet. We were unable to return home for over a year. No alternative housing was ever provided. Without a bed and homeless, Nicole was left to sleep on the floor of a hospital for 4 months whilst I was trying to recover. Indeed, the National Incident Record Book reported that to the emergency Cobra, the day that Zane died, they detected very high, I say that again, very high levels of hydrogen cyanide. Sinisterly, the record book comments there is a need to redact the truth to prevent the public knowing what really happened. This was a political decision. Zane's inquest was marked by various areas of critical evidence being hidden, plus witnesses not being called. We had a phalanx of 6 legal teams against us, all paid for at the public's expense, whilst we had to beg, borrow and crowdfund £75,000 for representation. And this was because we were refused legal aid 3 times. Diplomatically speaking, this is an obscene inequality of arms. The Environment Agency, a public authority, built a property next door to us 4 years earlier in 2010. Before it was built, they commissioned an international engineering geotechnical firm to provide a report on the secret landfill. The report stated there are migrating landfill gases. The risk is high. The consequences of that risk are serious injury and death. The authorities responded to their information by building their property with a gas-proof membrane, which forms a barrier, stopping the entry of dangerous migrating gases that would kill or injure authority staff. And then they kept all of that information secret. Zane's inquest was a disgrace. It was a masterclass in collusion and how to make a predetermined political decision a plausible outcome. Zane's rights were stripped from him by an inquest, There was no Article 2, no jury, no full and fearless investigation into the evidence, facts and data surrounding Zane's death. The coroner, who made himself judge and jury to Zane's inquest, decided that Zane was poisoned by carbon monoxide, a substance not even detected. As you can see from this slide, there was no carbon monoxide. The only substance that was detected in our house was hydrogen cyanide. There was no medical information whatsoever on carbon monoxide. And our house is an all-electric house. It cannot generate carbon monoxide. I was 2 yards from Zane, unconscious and in cardiac arrest, and I'm diagnosed paraplegia due to hydrogen cyanide poisoning. This could have happened to any one of us. 80% of people in the UK live within 2 kilometres of landfill, according to the British Medical Journal. This is a local as well as a national issue. Fire Services Hazmat detected the hydrogen cyanide. It was marginalised at Zane's inquest, as though it had never existed. The Fire Brigade Union rejected the coroner's findings and stand beside us in solidarity. Matt Rack, the General Secretary of the Fire Brigade Union, said, our members detected the hydrogen cyanide and have serious concerns at how Zane's inquest was conducted and the disturbing gaps in the evidence. The unregulated landfill seems to have released the nerve agent, and we call for an independent panel inquiry, which is the way that the Hillsborough families got the truth. Seeing the abuses perpetrated upon Zane, we have been joined by various other unions, including the TUC, the Unite Union, Unison, CWU, PCS Union, the National Education Union. Zane is further supported by the Labour Party in its manifesto and by the Green Party. These together embodying this country's traditional values of collectivism and solidarity. Zane would have become a teenager last birthday. Zane's loss is unimaginable. The loss of any child is unimaginable, it's unbearable. Without the cruel abuse that was heaped upon Zane. Zane loved people, and he's articled for having said, sustainability and being green is not just about tidying up your own garden, but it's about keeping tidy an even bigger garden that belongs to everyone. Zane was this country's youngest science, technology, engineering and maths ambassador. I want you to note that Zane's story is visible through many of the lenses and issues discussed at this conference. Austerity, injustice, cover-up, inequality, all manner of police interference and abuse, attempts to discredit and demonize, very much as noted by Margaret Greer's words on Friday, a lack of scrutiny, concealing evidence. Additionally, there are political accountability, public safety, public health, and climate crisis issues. The way we do politics, journalism, and justice needs to change. This system just isn't working for us. We should never be begging in rooms for justice or for rights. The bureaucratic violence perpetrated upon victims by public authorities who have become conduits to corporate power must end. Authorities with a duty to protect and be accountable to the public must be held responsible for their actions. We do not believe the purpose of an emergency COBRA meeting should be to cover up the deaths of 7-year-old children. What kind of a country do we live in where there is no apparent investigation into a deadly nerve agent, weapon of mass destruction detected in a neighborhood, or where it came from? How you can help? Well, now you know what happened to Zane. And may I ask that you sign and share Zane's petition, which is available just at the entrance where you came in. The petition calls for truth. 85,000 people have signed Zane's petition, but we need a push to 100,000. So please, please help. You can also pre-order Zane's book, The Truth About Zane. Just go to www.truthaboutzane.com. But remember, you need to share Zane's story through all your circles of influence throughout the families. You see, they just want us to go away. Delays, broken promises, miscarriages. But I reach out to you and anyone that wants to help. Step forward. Come and see me and let's have a chat. Now, we can come and speak at any of your regional meetings because what I've told you so far is just the tip of the iceberg. Let Zane's name be cherished and be the cause of truth. Nobody wants to think their children aren't safe when they have tucked them into bed at night. Extra hugs to your children and blessings to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Kai. That was very thought-provoking, heartbreaking, and a very powerful story and a very powerful issue. I'd like to say on behalf of everyone here that you have our total sympathy, solidarity, and support. Conference, you remember we have a bucket collection for the Truth About Zane charity yesterday morning. Thank you to those of you who gave so generously. We understand some of you missed the collection, but there will be another opportunity for more donations as you leave Conference Hall after this session. And now, there's going to be a short presentation to Kai from the NBMC, which Carol, our chair, will present. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Conference. That's fantastic. Thank you. That's fine. Yeah, do you want to come over? Yeah, just come over.
Thank you once again, Kai.